Did I want to be on that stage today? Not necessarily because I was uncomfortable, but I say yes so quick because then these things become more comfortable. Once I was up there, I felt way more comfortable, but like I just did the work. Like I feel like you have to have a limitless mindset. And like, you know, Ed Milet, he talked about like a record. If you were to put a record on like a record player and it was making like the scratching sound, you wouldn't keep on listening. So when you get these negative thoughts in your head, why do you keep on listening to them? You gotta like shut them down immediately.
All right, man, we're live in Kansas City, Missouri. We had Kyle Landwehr at our event speak. I think, I didn't want to say it out there, but I thought your presentation was probably one of the best, most authentic. I mean, that's why everybody at the table of all the presenters said that, man. They're like, dude, you're going to do big things. And one thing I wanted to compliment you on, and I said it kind of out there, was like the fact that you were able to recognize and fix things and kind of fix them around. That just shows me what kind of a guy you are, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. You know, like nobody has it figured out, right? And I feel like I've almost thought to myself, like, you have to have it figured out. Like, you have to have it figured out. And I've changed directions with my businesses so many times, as you can see, because I've owned quite a few in different industries. But it's all like I've always had to pivot, and, you know, I'm a young guy, so I'm just learning every single day.
Do you think, I noticed you paid for like Facebook, you paid for all these things like that, and I noticed that, you know, on that slide it said Closer Kyle, and then I also noticed, you know, do you think that your best skill set is sales closing, or is it systems? Because it seems like you're a systems guy, and generally most electricians tend to be wired that way. No pun intended.
That was good. I would say the two things that I'm really good at, in my opinion, are marketing and sales. Like, I would say I'm really good at marketing. I know how to market a product. I know how to market a brand, right? And then I'm good at closing the deals. I would say systems, you know, in my head, it's like, yeah, I know what needs to be done, but it's hard to implement those things and make sure that they're done right every single time, right? So just in also different things in my business, like implementing systems, right? If my Instagram gets deleted, my whole business goes from X to 0. Like, my team's quitting. It's hard to really have those systems in place. So marketing and sales are my two biggest things for sure. So are you aware that on Instagram you can scrape everybody's information and take all their email addresses? Like your followers, or? Yeah. I didn't know that. And other people's followers? No, I didn't know that. Okay, so will that help you next time? Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'm not a marketing guy then. No, I just want to give you a little tip. Yeah. And you can also scrape Facebook groups. Is there like a software? Yeah, but it's better to just hire it through Upwork. It's called Python. Okay. I think it's the software, but what it will get into is it will actually allow you to go through and scrape people's email addresses off Facebook groups. So you could target like junk Facebook groups, or you could target like other people who compete in your space. And you can actually scrape all of their email addresses and then market to them, build your own database. Interesting, like a lookalike audience. Well, you don't even have to do a lookalike audience. You'll actually have their email addresses. Okay. So that will be your audience. So like I could literally go on, let's say, Alex Hermosi's page, and I could go and say, hey, that's not my audience, so that's probably not the best one. Let's pick somebody, Ryan Pineda, you're on his podcast. I could go hire a guy on Upwork and say, scrape all of his followers so that I can market to him. Are you a big email guy at all? No, no, I'm not, but yes, I'm working on that. I bet if you do email right, you'll increase revenue by 20% in the next 30 days. Guaranteed. I agree with you. I'm working on the attractive character. Are you familiar with that? No. Okay, so I believe the Godfather of Marketing is Russell Brunson in this current era right now. Love that guy. Okay, so he wrote something that he talks about as the attractive character. Kind of the way you got vulnerable up there is the way you need to portray yourself in the email. And most people with email, they just blow up. They just send shit out there. And so if you can build yourself as the attractive character, this is what Russell Brunson talks, tell your story just like you did up there, and then with that next step of taking action and communicating and getting them built in. But yeah. There was two things that I learned when like writing copy. You know, copywriting is super important, especially when you're writing emails. It's like you got to build pain with the audience that you're trying to relate with, right? Which are your customers, your perfect clients. Right. Pain is the thing that sells everything. So what do you think is the number one pain that people suffer from? Why they buy? They aren't where they want to be, right? Like for me, I look at, like, I'm the best buyer that ever exists, right? As you can probably see, the $25,000 podcast.
Yeah, I got a program to sell you in here, dude.
Like, I'm just the best buyer.
It's $100,000. Teach you everything you want to know about, whatever.
But when I really sat back and thought of like why I bought from people, and I did this like recently, and it was strictly like their credibility, right? They were living a life that I wanted to live. I was so desperate to get that I was willing to put like my nuts on the line. I would literally put every single egg that I have to go get that, and then hope that I would get a good return. And sometimes I get scammed. Like, I got a $5,000 crypto scam, like somebody scammed me, drop shipping scams before I ever got anything, right? And I was making no money at the time anyway. So I was always trying to get there. Nothing was working until something worked.
Yeah, so you're just trying new stuff, but the buying it never works, right?
Yeah, you got to put the work in.
Right. That so many people think if they just buy that thing, it's going to work.
And it's easy for me and you to think that that's common sense. That's obviously, obvious. So put the work in, like, hey, I'll sell you X. This is what you need to do. Here's a step-by-step. People don't do it. Like the social media thing I was just talking about. I built a company out of social media because people want to do it. You're paying me $16,000. You're paying me $6,000 to replicate what I've done. So go replicate what I've done. Go post on social media. I already said it a million times. It's like, if you're not going to do it, don't give me the money. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I only want winners. The money, you don't need $8,000, right? I'm sure you don't need $8,000. It does nothing. But when that person increases their net worth by $1 million, that's worth $1 million.
Well, for me, like, I looked at other coaches and I saw that they were always after the money, after the money, after the money. And in any market, I've beat everybody no matter what it is. And so my goal is to beat everybody, okay? But you don't beat everybody by outselling them. You beat everybody by providing the most amount of value and being the most authentic and the most vulnerable and the person that cares the most. Mm-hmm. And like, you may say, oh, well, we're at Fortune Builders and we're going to charge you $50,000 for this program that we know that maybe not everybody's going to use. Well, that's not going to set that person up for success. Where I screwed up and where I'm fixing right now, and this is what Russell Brunson talks about a lot, is I just had one product to sell, right? And I saw you didn't have that. You had multiple products. You could buy this, this, and that. Where I screwed up in the beginning, and we're fixing that, is because people, once they buy from you and they trust you, they want to buy more products and services from you.
You make, like, where you make real money is on lifetime value. I heard Alex Hormozi say something where what he was doing, nobody really looks at it this way. It's like he had a coaching program, that's what it was, or a done for you, like he was coaching, that's what it was. But he called it something else, licensing, right? But he said that if he sold 1,000 people at like a certain amount of money, he was only going to make like a couple $1 million. But he ended up making like $50 million because he was able to increase the lifetime value over time. Yeah. So for you, like you obviously have your front end offer, which is the 8,000, we'll say. I would build like affiliates throughout the whole thing. When I say affiliates, like if you're telling them to go to a CRM, that CRM should be paying you a certain amount of money.
We have that set up.
That CRM was paying me $600. We had a bunch of my margins were so high because of that. But then the back end offers were like the social media management. You want to put like a bunch of done for you stuff because you'll watch people not do it over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, it hurts your reputation. It makes you look bad, even though you didn't do anything.
No, I agree with you. It's the most infuriating thing in the world is people pay you for coaching and they don't show up, they don't do it or whatever. Right. And the people that do it have massive amounts of success. Like and
I want to touch on something too that we were kind of talking about, and something I'm trying to fix as well is I would hire all these companies because I didn't want to do anything, right? And they knew it better than me. That's why I was hiring them, where they managed my content. So they controlled what I sounded like, right? Where all the copy that they were writing, wasn't, it wasn't me. It wasn't my personality. It wasn't where it would, if it's a profit share, they're making me look like a douche basically over and over and over again, to where I feel like, again, I had to ask myself, at the end of the year, it's like, hey, what do I want to be known as? I don't want to be known as some guru. I don't want to be known as that whatsoever. I want people to look at me a certain way and be like, oh, that's a great guy. Yeah,
well, I think that what social media boils down to is being a good storyteller. Mm-hmm. okay? And if your story is told by someone else, that it's not your story, okay, right? And your story up there was your story, and that's the one you should be telling, right? And if it's like, same thing, like, so you're trying to get ahead, you're thinking, well, hey, I can do this or I can do that, and I'm gonna hire this guy. I've hired digital marketing agencies and shit like that, and they all suck. Like I finally am at the point after hiring all those people that we do it better with better results, more effectively than the people that we've wasted countless dollars on, but more important than that, time, right? And so, people say, well, there's certain things that like I did hire a TikTok coach. That was the best money I've spent. That guy came and spoke at one of my masterminds. Like there's very few coaches out there that actually care. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would say it's a money play for the most part.
For the most part, about people that really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there who, are selling drop shipping courses who don't drop ship. Or sell real estate courses who don't do real estate.
Or Forex
Yeah. How many DMs do those you get a day?
I don't even know. Like,
if I see Forex in the bio, that's immediately like I'm blocking you.
Yeah. There's some scammers out on the internet. So you said the next chapter is the family man chapter, but like I said at the back of the room, I said, brother, because that burning desire that existed a year ago is still right there. You just realized what was more important. And and I think that like you bringing your family in and all that situation into that whole thing is gonna be. But you're like me, probably you're all or nothing, right?
Yeah. It's either I'm not the guy who drinks one beer. I'm the guy who drinks 10. Like I'm like all or nothing with everything. Right?
So I'm the guy who drinks 20 beers. That's why I don't drink any beers. So so I'm 100% agree with that. Like if I'm gonna do it, let's go all the way. That's why the other guy was just asking how many podcasts have you filmed, and Danny's like, we're at 7. You're number 8. Like, just like, let's go, right? Like you're only here one time. But the other thing that's super important is these other people that are in your corner over here. Don't forget about them, right?
Exactly.
So, you said you want to own more businesses. I like the way you were setting up those businesses with the royalties. I thought those were super fair. It looks like to me that you might have a path in private equity.
Yeah, so I haven't really talked about this, but I went to one of those masterminds that I was talking about in my speech. I went to the next one, but it was very similar. And I met a guy there, and he was doing $50 million a year, $60 million a year at 25 years old, right? I don't know if that was true or not, but he had a Patek Philippe on, so it could be. And that guy was in private equity, right? And I went up to him and I said, hey man, I would love to talk to you. And he said, I really wanted to talk to you too. And I'm like, the biggest player here, why would he say, hey man, I really wanted to talk to you too? Like he was dying to talk to me. I thought it was weird. Mm-hmm. He was like, hey, let's put your junk removal company all around the country, this and that, right? I ended up flying up to his house in Florida like a week after that. And we were sitting at a table like this where they were going to basically put my junk removal company all around the United States, right? Like they were going to put the money, the tech behind it, like everything, and then tried to sell for like 8 figures in a couple years. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting sold on the vision, getting sold. But then I realized that I'm getting turned into the owner operator. I'm letting people have equity in my business where I don't have as much control in the money. I could get screwed over. Like then I had to ask myself, if I was willing to move from state to state to start new locations all of the time, right? Where then I realized like, hey, maybe I don't want to be doing what I'm doing. Like to get to this, like maybe I'm in the wrong vehicle. It's not that this vehicle doesn't work, just maybe I'm in the vehicle that I don't want to take, right? And that's when I decided, and I was also having a kid at the time, where I wanted to be able to make money anywhere versus having my junk removal company right there. And then I kind of just fell into like I wanted to do private equity. I realized I was in the wrong spot. Some other guy I sat with, he was doing something similar, private equity, I would say, but without investing capital into your business, more of a consulting type of thing, right? And then he was going to take royalties, but he was going to charge me like $50,000 and he was going to take a bunch of equity. I think he was making, 7 figures a month is what he said in passive income from those royalties just by scaling. Now, any business I've started or ran, the junk removal company, right? new customers all the time, right? All the time you got to find new customers, and it was a constant hustle. Junk Academy, same exact thing. You got to find new customers. And that was always the chase, to where I realized, and we did probably over $500,000 a month in student results. That's a guess. I would say that would be on the low side though.
Okay.
But a lot of those results came from a certain amount of people, and the other people didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, instead of working with those people, because I don't want to work with those people, I want to work with the people who actually care, the people who want to put the work in. How can I go partner with people like that, or only work with those people? So now it's like, how can I partner with people and not try to sell 100 new clients, but sell 10, but find 10 winners who are really wanting to go all in, and then making it an irresistible offer to where it's like, hey, if I don't perform, you don't pay, type of thing.
All right. So I like that you just said irresistible offer. We're working currently on my irresistible offer. So I just got done reading Hormozi's book, which I think are probably two of the best books about marketing that I've read ever. And I think another guy who's really good at irresistible offers is Dan Locke. He's an excellent copywriter. Yeah. I like his shit as well. So what do you think a good irresistible offer is for a real estate investing program?
So I want to say something real quick. Sure. Because there was a guy that I know, I hired him as a mentor. He was making 7 figures a month. This guy was crushing it. I know he made over $20 million. I saw it on the Stripe account. And he was coaching people on how to start an ATM business, right? And he was charging them crazy money, and they were making passive income, which is awesome, but it wasn't like that much money in my opinion. But I was charging $5,000 or $60,000 or $16,000 for somebody to start a junk removal company. I had one guy who did $503,000 in revenue the very first 12 months he was in business. I had so many other people who were doing 6 figures the first year, but here I am pulling teeth to get $5,000, to get 16 grand. So why are people way more interested to make less money and pay him so much more? And what I learned was people would rather pay more as long as it's easy and they don't have to do anything, right? So
that is the irresistible offer, right? Make it easy without having to do anything.
So an irresistible offer, in my opinion, needs to be the best price possible, right? In their eyes. You need to get them the quickest result possible. There needs to be no downside, meaning that there's a guarantee, right? And you need to make them the most amount of money possible as fast as possible. That's an irresistible offer. And the sooner and I kind of got that from Alex Hormozi. It's like the closer you can get to that, that's an irresistible offer. Yeah.
And we just put a money back guarantee in place. It's funny you mentioned that, because when you look at if you look at old school business, what do people care about? They care about the warranty. How long is the bumper to bumper warranty? How long is that? And if you take some of those playbooks out of automotive and all the companies who have done things like that for years and years and years, you're like, oh, okay. Everybody wants they want a money back guarantee. They want a lifetime warranty. They want you've got oil, this, that, and the other thing. So I think it's important because it takes a lot of they're not ripping me off.
Well, and I think that, money back guarantees are bullshit. I really think that they're bullshit. I think that you need them, but they're bullshit for most people. The reason why is because if you're going to give me a money back guarantee to buy a piece of real estate, right? There needs to be some terms and conditions.
I already wrote
apply,
it. Yeah.
Right? And those terms and conditions, they're in the junk removal company. Hey, if you do X, Y, Z, you will not fail. I know for a fact that you'll do X, but you have to do those things. If you don't do it, right?
There's no money back
guarantee's
guarantee
off the table.
Yeah.
But the thing is I heard Alex Hormozi say something that less than 2% of people actually say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then they don't do it, right? So if people are buying because of a money back guarantee, most of those people are not going to do the terms and conditions that apply. I would bet money that 2% do it.
Oh, I agree with you, but a lot of people are going to buy because of it.
100%. And I don't people shouldn't need something to fall back on. We've had people who specifically don't do these things over time, and then they reach out the last day, hey, can I get a refund? It's well, you didn't do X, Y, Z.
Yeah. Well, they're programmed.
Yeah.
You offered a money back guarantee. Okay, did you read the terms and conditions? They're very laid out, simple. No, it says do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you'll be successful. Because we told you all you had to do was be successful, but you wanted the money back guarantee. You didn't do any of it, And yeah, it is frustrating, but we're selling the steak and the sizzle, or the sizzle and the steak, but we're not eating it for you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so
in my opinion, I think that, coaching businesses, like, I think it's an amazing industry. I've spent $300,000 or just under that in coaching, basically. I think the business is like, there's a bad taste in the air, right, for that industry because of all the fakes or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you need to be is to get as close as possible to a done-for-you service. How can you do things for them, right? So
that's one of our products we just launched.
So junk removal, it's like, all right, hey, here's how to start a junk removal company. Go do it. Okay, you're not doing X, Y, Z, right, which is going to make me look bad. Now I need to go generate leads for you. How can I generate leads for you? That's when we started like rolling out back-end offers. It was like, hey, we'll manage your social media. People pay me to replicate what I've done. If I post on social media 2 times a day and I say to do it 7 times a week, then go do it, right? But if you don't do it, like, what'd you give me the money for?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I hate to cut it short. We are on a time frame. I really want to just take the time to say thank you. I had no idea what you were even going to present on. And exactly why I thought you were going to be a great fit is exactly, you over-delivered on everything that I expected.
Okay, I really appreciate that, man.
And I mean it sincerely. You got everybody in the back, like everybody at the speaker table fired up. Mm-hmm. So if you're firing up the speakers,
yeah, I must be doing something right.
You're doing something.
And I think the biggest thing, I know we got to go here in a second, but like, I wasn't bound to be on that stage today. Like, I never thought I'd be in that stage today. Yeah. Did I want to be on that stage today? Not necessarily, because I was uncomfortable, Me too. Like, I'm uncomfortable on every single stage. Yeah. But I say yes so quick because then these things become more comfortable. Once I was up there, I felt way more comfortable, but like, I just did the work. You have to come up with a limitless mindset. Like, I feel like you have to have a limitless mindset, and like Ed Milet, he talked about like a record. If you were to put a record on like a record player and it was making like the scratching sound, right, you wouldn't keep on listening. So when you get these negative thoughts in your head, why do you keep on listening to them? You got to like shut them down immediately.
Yeah, it's so true. And man, I can't thank you enough. It's just one of those things like, dude, stop listening to all the negative. Believe in yourself. Like, everybody has setbacks. Everybody has failures. It's all up to you. Take action and do it. And for the record, you looked completely the most comfortable up there.
Okay, that's good.
So you looked like a duck. You know what I mean? You might have been fucking, but nobody saw it, okay?
Yeah, so I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me out, and look forward to collaborating on some more things.
Well, you're close, man. Now we're going to have to be friends and shit and do some more stuff. I'm going to have to smoke you on the golf course tonight, or on the... You got that, yeah. We're going to take videos of who's hitting the ball straighter and longer.
That was the next thing I was going to say, is I'll have to kick your butt in golf anytime. Hey, I'll drive 3 hours out here just to embarrass you.
Wait, listen, I'll drive 4 hours out there just to... I didn't take the $1,000. I could have. All right, peace. Did you ever want to invest in real estate? Did you ever want to live the life of your dreams? Did you want financial freedom? We have a free Facebook group, the Millionaire Mentorship Facebook group for real estate investing. Make sure you join. The link is in the description. If you want to schedule a free call with me and my team and you actually want to start, I would suggest you do so. We have helped hundreds of people change their lives, and all they had to do was get started. They booked a call with me and my team, and they got the ball rolling. And I'm so confident that if you don't get your first or next investment property within the first 90 days, you don't pay, and I'll give you $1,000 cash. That's how confident I am. Obviously, you got to take action. You can't just do nothing and expect that to happen, but that's life. Life's all about taking action.